A large number of people cutting their subscriptions and starting to pirate will force streaming sites to innovate, make a better product, and bring back not only those ex-subscribers, but bring in the huge market of people who never cared about supporting the industry in the first place. If I'm correct in that assumption, then it means that pirating in the short term would be a lot better for the industry, the consumers, and the streaming sites. Literally everyone is happy. I call it Operation I'll Show You Real Anime Strike. Alright, so why is this necessary? Well, we've been doing the whole support the industry, don't pirate shtick for years. Like seriously, I found videos back from 2010 telling you to support the industry. But despite all the time that argument has had to form and spread, piracy is still very popular. And while it's definitely true that this mentality has had an effect, what you should really be asking yourself is that good enough? About 6 months ago, when that Crunchyroll controversy went down, there was a straw poll on r/anime that asked if people cancelled their subscriptions in response. Over 50% of people confessed that they didn't even have a Crunchyroll account. And granted, they might have been using a different legal streaming site, but let that sink in. Crunchyroll is by far the most popular legal streaming site. This is a board for people who are big fans of anime. And furthermore, people who don't care about Crunchyroll, i.e. people who are less likely to have a subscription, are going to click on this thread a lot less than others. How big is this number really? By the way, good a time as any to mention it, there's this guy named Annie News who did a great unbiased statistical breakdown on streaming, and that guy actually does business and doesn't have an IQ of 86, so if you don't listen to me, at least go watch that video. The streaming industry is certainly not dying, hell, it's growing, I won't deny that, but I'd bet my bottom dollar that that's only because the anime community itself is growing exponentially faster. But the people who have been here for years and have never bought a streaming service probably never will. Again, we've been using the same moral argument on our peers for a very long time now. The fact of the matter is, for a certain very large group of consumers, no amount of moral shaming will work. And while a lot of YouTubers see that as a problem with those consumers, I see that as a problem with the streaming services. The main reason that these people will not buy these services is simple. There is literally no reason outside of a moral one to do so. Illegal streaming sites do pretty much everything legal ones do. Sometimes more. Some of them even provide convenient download buttons if you want to get the episode file. And the ads aren't even that big of a deal. Worst case scenario, you have to close a pop-up and go full screen. Boom, it's exactly like legal streaming sites where you didn't have to pay for it and you didn't have to dick around with signing up only to find they didn't have the anime you wanted to begin with. And again, not saying that it's not a shitty, unethical reason. It absolutely is. But that's beside the point. Until this group has an actual reason to buy these products, they simply won't. If you think you can ban piracy, be my guest. If you think you can convince these people to go legal, be my guest. But you've had 11 years and you haven't even got 50%. And after all of this time, I've started to find it a little hard to defend these sites because for some peculiar reason, the only thing they haven't tried is innovation. The only thing that will not only fix this problem, but put us into a new age of humongous growth for this industry, is someone coming up with and implementing a new revolutionary idea that lets streaming sites compete with piracy. And I get some people might think, well, pirating can just do everything streaming sites can do. Not necessarily. Like, just off the top of my head, how about letting me link my account with my anime list? That'd be a good start. Every time I finish an episode, you can update my account to include what I'm up to, and every time I finish a series, you can add a text input bar under the video where I can put my thoughts and ratings and immediately have it update on my list. Best part is, illegal streaming sites can't copy this. The last thing my anime list is going to do is sign a deal with an illegal streaming site. They'll sign one with Crunchyroll though. Also, I know I keep saying Crunchyroll, it's just the site I'm most familiar with, but this applies to all legal streaming sites. Now, mallinking is just something small and simple, but it goes to show that illegal sites can't mimic everything. Granted, they could create their own mal, but it would never pick up. The whole community is already established, and it doesn't involve registering an account with a shady streaming site. Anyway, that's just something I thought of before even starting research on this video. Imagine what you could think of with a whole boardroom of people. In fact, I already got a couple ideas to build on this, so stick around. But my point is that the beauty of innovation is that anything is possible, and until you try, you don't know what crazy solution or idea could potentially solve all your problems. Huge industries and even technology as a whole has been built on the back of people being in rough situations and just trying something new. But the quote-unquote rough situation is key. See, the only problem is that this is never going to happen. The streaming market has completely stagnated. In most businesses, innovation is considered a risk, and companies that are progressing smoothly don't take risks. I went through Crunchyroll's press releases, and there's not a hint of a new feature. The closest thing we've gotten to an innovation was them holding a fucking convention, which doesn't exactly compel new customers. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's just an excuse to sell a shit ton of stuff. I mean, for God's sakes, we still don't even have a buffer bar on Crunchyroll. It does actually exist. If you pay for extra premium, you get the beta features. Yeah, you have to pay for the beta. That's not the point of a beta test. Oh, and if that's not enough of an indication that they're not prioritizing site improvement, that feature that already exists on every other site has been in beta for 8 months. And looking around at all the other streaming sites will give a similar result. These sites get the license to stream the anime, and then they stream the anime. Best case scenario, they copy across some ideas from other mediums, forums, news, etc. But that isn't innovation, and it's certainly not enough to persuade the average user that they need the service over pirating. The irony of this whole situation is that we did this. I'm 90% sure that the only reason these sites make any revenue at all is because of the community that's supporting it out of the goodness of their heart. God only knows that's why I did it. In fact, let's do a straw poll. Check the description. Let's see if we can get some mildly accurate data for once. I mean, granted, there's slight advantages. I guess you don't have to deal with ads, and I guess you can reliably get 1080p, and I guess you have a neat little autoplay function. But ads are nothing compared to actually signing up and paying. Crunchyroll still has complaints about bit rates anyway, and I'm not incapable of making 4 extra clips just to watch another episode. But being able to download an episode? Now that's an actual honest-to-God feature. That's like a big thing. But Crunchyroll hasn't added anything to sweeten the deal in ages, despite the huge amount of good it could do. They like add extra anime and give you the ability to read manga, but that doesn't compete with piracy. Anyway, my point is that fed wolves bear no claws. I think in our good intentions, we've given streaming sites enough money to the point where they don't try to innovate. Which makes sense, really. The bottom line is that they are not a charity, they're a business. They're not going to put your money to a cause, the money is the cause. As far as they're concerned, their site is good enough to attract customers, even though it's not and we're just doing it because it's ethical, and they're only concerned with maximizing profits rather than to try and take on piracy like they should be, because we're paying them to support the industry, and if there's a way of strengthening it, they should be setting aside a decent chunk of revenue to research and innovation. But from their mind, more and more people keep coming in. They don't need to do anything considered a risk. Now, you can kindly ask these companies to add new features if you want, and I'd be delighted if that actually works, but realistically, if you want to see innovation and progress, you need to cut your account and switch back to piracy. At least until you genuinely want the product you're paying for. Also, for the record, I'm not going to cut anything myself. I'm going to keep my Crunchyroll and Anime Lab accounts, if only as a counter-argument to the people saying that I'm looking for an excuse. My personal feelings about money aside, this is something that I believe you, as consumers, a huge conglomerate of people, should do. I think you should pirate, but I think as the one trying to convince you, I should not. Alright, now back on topic. Now one thing that's worth noting, and probably a decent counterpoint to piracy being the only thing that can push this industry forward, is the idea of the competitive market. Okay, here's the part where I get kind of in-depth with economics and market theory, or whatever the fuck it's called. See, that's how unexperienced I am with this. I'm gonna try my best here. I might botch something. Hopefully someone will call me out on it if I do, and I'll, like, heart your comment or whatever. Okay, so a lot of people are probably thinking, well, Anime Strike and Netflix probably aren't doing well on the streaming success, and one streaming site has already died. Shouldn't that be the quote-unquote competitive market and struggle that incentivizes innovation? And this is important because there's a bigger problem the newer and smaller sites have to face that make competing with the bigger sites damn near impossible. See, innovation is nice and all, but if I can't sell you the product itself, the core part of what you want, all the pretty bells and whistles won't make a difference. The concept that screws up this competitive market in streaming is the exclusive license. The idea is that a studio or whatever fuck sells you the rights to stream their anime on your platform. But in order to get an edge on the other platforms, to give you a reason to come to their site in particular, streaming sites bid for an exclusive license, i.e. they buy the rights to be the only service to stream that anime. Isn't that like a huge problem? Because where most competitive markets give you a variant of a product like a phone or a watch that has the core feature of sending and receiving calls or telling the time, streaming services don't give you a variant of the same product unless you consider the product entertainment, which is way too vague. If I have Crunchyroll and Made in Abyss looks interesting, but Made in Abyss is only on Anime Strike, I mean, well fuck, I can't just go watch the Crunchyroll version of Made in Abyss, I can't just swap it out, no, I have to buy both products. There's no sense in switching from Crunchyroll to Anime Strike because then I also want to watch Hero Academia. Going from Hero Academia to Made in Abyss is not like switching from an iPhone to Samsung. It's just not. Crunchyroll and Anime Strike are not competing markets when they're using exclusive licenses. They're two subscription-based companies selling literally completely different products. Like, when was the last time you saw someone walking around with 2 phones or 2 watches? You can't call streaming services a competitive market if you have to buy 2 of them. The essence of a competitive market is the consumer being able to alternate between 2 brands and decide which one is best for them, and then the losing product must innovate to win back the popular vote. Right now though, bells and whistles be damned, the most popular streaming service is decided by who has enough money to afford the most popular anime licenses, which generally speaking is Crunchyroll because it was first to get its foot in the door of the streaming market. And now the only thing that can enter the market is bigger corporations like Amazon or Netflix that can compete for these exclusive licenses. You know what would make it a competitive market though? If all companies could stream every anime they were willing to buy the license for. In that situation, the consumer would choose which streaming service they liked best, rather than basing it on what anime they ultimately wanted to watch. Do you see what I mean? There's no room for innovation in this current market. Ultimately, the most important thing is being able to watch the damn fucking show, and these sites are exploiting that rather than doing some fucking work and making the actual product they sell better. And what's worse is this whole exclusive license bullshit makes it even harder for legal streaming sites to compete with illegal ones, because these sites can't even guarantee they'll have what you want to watch. If these companies cared anywhere near as much as we do about the industry, they would have all formed a pact to not use exclusive licenses and thereby make piracy a much less tempting fucking option. I mean, fuck, I go through this shit every season. There'll be something I'm interested in, I'll search it up, only to be met with fucking disappointment. I feel like I bought half a fucking product. What do you expect me to do? Switch every season? Buy them all? There's no rhyme or reason to which services will have which anime, so what's the point in picking one site over another? The only reason people buy a single one of these products is so they can say they've helped the industry, and for everything else, they just pirate anyway. No wonder some people choose to not buy these shitty, inconvenient services. No fucking wonder! Alright, let me cool down a bit. If you're interested in any of the anime I talked about and many more, they're all available on Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll is a legal streaming service that allows you to watch unlimited amounts of anime on your tablet, mobile device, computer, and Wii U for the low price of $6.99 a month. Or just get 2 free fortnights of premium membership by using my promo code at crunchyroll.com/all Jews must die. This is not a fucking real sponsorship. Can you fucking imagine? Back on the topic of competitive markets, again, I just want to say, not really a business expert, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Hopefully, Annie News will appear in the comment section at some point, and he's doing a business degree and has looked into all this stuff, so if he shows up, I'll pin his comment, even if it's criticism. Hopefully, they'll give you a nice rounded opinion on all of this. But from my point of view and what I've researched, you should just stop supporting anything that buys exclusive licenses. It just dilutes the market, forces competition with money rather than innovation, and it only gives more power to illegal streaming sites that by comparison have immensely larger and more popular catalogs. Exclusive licenses need to fucking die, and as of right now, all of these streaming sites do it instead of innovating, so you should probably just pirate. In doing so, they'll be forced to stop buying exclusive licenses, be forced to create a better product, and as a result, not only will you come back to their site, but people who have never felt the need to buy a streaming service, that odd 60%, will now want to as well. Alright, anyway, I think that's everything, so now I'm just gonna hit you with another example of potential innovation just to prove it's possible. So, you know what a big uncapitalized market is? Clip watching. A lot of people have this kind of perception that you watch a show and then you're just kind of done. But if you look at YouTube, people upload all sorts of clips of their favorite moments from anime, and these clips get insane views. Did you know the video of the biggest twist from the second season of Attack on Titan has 9 million views in 4 months? The thing is, YouTube can't capitalize on this properly because of the automatic copyright system, so a lot of these clips have parts cut out of them, or they have these stupid fucking borders, or the audio is sped up. Despite how shit they are though, they still get crazy views. You can find random 240p One Piece clips with stupid watermarks from 7 years ago, with like 1.7 million views. It's not even like an important scene. There is a huge demand for people who want to go back and experience their favorite moments of a show. Hell, I've gotten into new anime sometimes via random clips I found recommended to me. Imagine just being able to press a button on that clip and start watching the show it came from immediately. Better yet, if you're able to link your account with Mal, then Crunchyroll will be able to detect exactly which clips are spoilers for you. So basically that new feature would be letting users crop and place together clips using times. They could then give the clip a name, whether it be a compilation of certain moments or what happens in the scene, and then place some spoiler information. Then the clip will be added to a pile for that particular anime and will be first recommended to people who have watched up to the latest episode that the clip uses. From there, people will evaluate how accurate the spoiler warning is, and how spoilery the title is, and based on that, it'll either be recommended to people who haven't watched the series, or kept exclusively for those who have. One neat thing is that this is great for space and efficiency, since all the clips are just pointers to the original episode, but all in all, they'll have the quality to outperform the clips on YouTube, and the spoiler tagging and mal backing means that illegal sites won't be able to copy it without establishing their own version of mal. Which again, they won't because mal already has a huge community backing it and no one wants to sign up with a ghost town, let alone the ghost town of a dodgy illegal streaming site. Illegal streaming can give the consumer everything they could possibly want to watch, but they can't help them choose. Between mal integration and high quality clips, you can not only do that, but provide a fantastic service for consumers to relive their favorite moments. If you want to start competing with piracy, I want you to stop thinking of Crunchyroll as a place where you come every week to see anime you're currently watching, and instead as the URL you type into your browser when you're bored or procrastinating. Oh, by the way, just so we're clear, if you ever do implement this feature, don't put a fucking paywall on it. I see you thinking it. Don't do it. You've missed the point of bells and whistles if this isn't accessible through Crunchyroll's normal premium membership. Jesus Christ. Anyway, regardless of how the industry is doing right now, the point is that we can definitely do better than this. Between the exclusive licenses and the amount of money they're getting from people who just want to support the industry, streaming services aren't trying to improve their product to the point where it can compete with piracy. It is possible and we are capable of making it happen, but it requires a bit of tough love and illegal activities. But if we got this dumbass flightless bird off the ground, we can put reins on it too. Look, if you genuinely enjoy these services and want to pay for it, do it. But if not, don't encourage bad business practices. Please stop defending the poor, helpless, giant corporation. It's not a baby. It'll find a way to get your subscription back again. It has been 11 years and the streaming industry is now firmly grounded. There is no room for a moral argument anymore. In the long run, this is better for everyone.